my goodness. You in the front, you're in the splash zone. Get ready.
I volunteer.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Dr. Becky Black. I know many of you. Those of you I don't know, hello. And Dr. Tom Keefe is here as well. And we are excited that you are joining.
I looked at my Oxford Dictionary of Byzantium. There's no entry on Catholicism. Precisely. And this, I mean, that's a 3-volume set. That was really expensive. That's disappointing.
Which is interesting in and of itself, right? I like pretzels, which is interesting in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Black was drunk every class.
I'm shocked to hear you say that. I really am.
So I'm hoping the pretzel's okay. I'm going to eat it anyways, depending on what it might. You know what? I won't eat it in full view of you. If I come over and I'm loud eating, my apologies in advance.
Well, I'm ignoring Chris. Am I the only one that thought when he said I have pretzels coming that he was about to say he had them they were being delivered to us?
Of course you would twist it that way. Of course.
I like pretzels.
It can be fascist. I mean, a good fascist could
do something weird and say that's sugar coating and it's like dirt. But
yeah, I think that would be really valuable to me.
Tom, of course you're right.
Please help me welcome Chrysosto.
Yeah.
His writings were actually, it was titled to himself. It was never meant for anybody else's eyes, period. For us to have even a fragment of this, it was actually lost.
I'll keep looking, thinking about this.
The last remaining rhino falls to its knees. We pull the noose tighter before finally dangling on a closet rack.
It can be very dark. It can be fascist. But I think those of us who understand it, where his heart was, we would say that would not be a viable interpretation in terms of his concerns about justice and so on. But yeah, no, there's a dark side possible here.
Now we get to talk about the cat now?
Yeah, we get to talk about the cat. No,
I can't hear you. I'm listening to Dad's presentation. What?
One night in November, a Leonid meteor shower penetrates Earth's atmosphere. Meanwhile, trajectories of lunar missions and nuclear tests commences, unacquainted with future devastations and conquest.
Thank you for bringing the point up. It can be very dark. It can be fascist.
It is an increasing militarization.
I think it does for me, and that's something that
you just have to be clever enough to know what you're doing and to have read your Machiavelli.
Subnational, national, and non-state actors have done this for centuries.
Tom, of course you're right. And
I think what I heard you say is that Tom was not wrong.
No, I didn't say that at all. But I will say this. I want you students to pay attention, because when leaders who are interested in being right and holding power, they will manipulate your words.
It can be fascist.
So that they come across as what they want them to be.
I feel like you're using me as an example for that point.
Yes, you're very astute.
What she said.
leads in this.
I was sharing with Tom.
Good for you, Tom.
That I have a pretzel delivery coming.
It can be fascist.
Just said.
It can be fascist.
I first read Marcus Aurelius when I was in undergrad.
I mean, Greece and Rome is my passion, no doubt about it. So that's probably what I'm going to concentrate on.
What does Rome have?
It can be fascist.
And that is also involved in the debate between, or the schism of 1054,
by the way. It's not 1056, because only an idiot would think it was 1056.
Well, no, I mean, that's an easy mistake.
All right, so building on that.
It can be fascist.
What you think this painting is about?
It can be fascist.
It's about even more. He has so many sort of little eggs, little treasures throughout this. These artists lived on, continued working, and I know Dr. Keefe wants to talk to you about the cats. Dr. Keefe?
Oh, now we get to talk about the cat now? Well, first I wanted to know, do you know who he is? Do you know who the fourth cat is, Dr. B?
Starts with a G.
This is Gippo. This is Gippo, his tabby. Can we talk about the cats for the rest of the presentation now?
Absolutely.
It can be fascist.
Sorry, I don't have anything better.
Did you know? Nick actually studied in the agoras with Aristotle and Plato.
And he was always grounded in philosophy.
So Nick,
Why do I do it? Why?
Nick Hardaker.
He was actually one of the 5 good emperors. And that started with Nerva. And then it moved along the line. And it was actually Hadrian who handpicked
Nick Hardaker and
Marcus.
And exactly what you said earlier about
Where they are united is the belief in
Nick Hardaker and
a savior who was God incarnate, died a mortal death, and rose 3 days later. The tenets are the same.
X will always remain as anomalous blood in our identity. At the collapsing center of a desert universe, dawn arrives.
All over the planet.
I can easily understand that.
But
That is our stolen. Memory is the council that is our dead and massacred. Memory is our placental land, our Americas.
What's occurring is the loss of a lot of land and territory. But
There's a Greek concept, and I'm sure you've heard of the word aristocracy. That's something that we use a lot when talking about nobility and things like that, especially like in the early modern period. But aristocracy actually goes back to the Greeks, and it goes to the root form of aristos. Aristos means the best. Rule was supposed to be by the best. So when I think of someone who I would want to rule over me, or who I want to vote for or elect, in my opinion, it should be the best. It should be the best. Our best option, the best candidate.
it can be very dark. It can be fascist. If we want to see it that way. I mean, a good fascist could cite Tom.
And exactly what you said.
I know best.
Maybe I deserve that. But
If we think of the human being as, and many do, as a drone, these are the masses, and they are there to be manipulated, and goodness knows they are very, very easy to manipulate.
Yeah, I was thinking, Nick.
It's one's path, and we all deal with what we must deal with. And I keep asking myself how we can encourage each other to this kind of self-empowerment.
Road trip! Remcad road trip! Hi world!
That is not such an easy thing. And of course, there are a lot of self-help books, and Stoicism can certainly help in this regard. But how does one get to the place that one really empowers oneself? How can we instill that in our little girls, our little boys from when they're very young? Because that will carry us through. When I am truly empowered, I empower everyone around me, every life I touch. When we get that, then we really understand is that I can't be free until you are free. Thank you, Tom. You're kind. In fact, you're every kind. Thank you. You're kind. In fact, you're every kind.
I'd rather be Alex Trebek myself.
I can't hear you. I'm listening to Dad's presentation. What?
I'd rather be Alex Trebek myself.
I can't hear you. I'm listening to Dad's presentation. What?
Could you repeat what you just said?
I can't hear you. I'm listening to Dad's presentation. What?
Things that we need to do to communicate back to the entire community. With that, I'll end the call and hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day and certainly enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
All right. Peace out, man. All right. Peace out, man.